Hello and welcome to Ghana Connect. Yesterday, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, delivered his fourth and last State of the Nation address as the seventh President of the Fourth Republic. He may or may not have the opportunity to do this again, depending on the outcome of the December 7 election. In his speech, he touted government's achievements in health, education, the financial sector, energy, claiming that doomsday is over, but admits there are still challenges with the energy sector. But over the 2-hour address ended with this emphatic pronouncement.
The message of the State of the Nation is that our nation is in good health. May God bless us all in our homeland, Ghana, and make us great and strong.
Well, tonight we ask, is Ghana indeed in good health and in good, competent hands? Connecting with us in the studio are Prince Asamoah. Prince is an agri-business entrepreneur who's joining us on the show. Prince, how are you?
I'm doing fine.
Good. What exactly do you do?
I run an agribusiness startup where we help connect farmers to finance. So we basically allow for farmers, especially smallholder farmers, to access finance directly because they face challenges doing so currently.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And also connecting is Fred Forsing, a PR practitioner. Hello, Fred.
Yes.
Thank you very much for connecting with us. Kwejo Sapon also is here in the studio and is a student at Georgetown University School of Medicine in the U.S., but already has a degree in neuroscience and behavioral biology from Emory University. Now, Kwejo has connected with us a number of occasions from the U.S., but he's home for some time, and so he's here in the studio with us. Welcome, Kwejo.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Now, Edu Boahene is a trader and the president of the Traders Association. Edu Boahene, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Right. And Blaise Annan Jr. is a communications director of DIMOG. Welcome, Daniel. And what is DIMOG?
Yeah, thank you very much. Nhyira, DIMOG is a dynamic youth movement of Ghana. I mean, we've been here several times.
That's great. Yeah. It's important that we let our audience, hopefully, those who may be joining us to connect today for the first time, to know who DIMOG is. So, now, here's how you can connect with us.
Join us now on Twitter, #Ghana Connect Live, Facebook, Joy 99.7 FM, or send us a WhatsApp on 0244 340 437, and we will call you back. Join the nation's biggest conversation now and connect to authority.
You can also join us on WhatsApp via 0244340437. And at this point, I'd like to point out, yesterday we did put out a poll. And the poll simply asked the question, is Ghana indeed in good health and in good, competent hands? The poll is still on the Joy FM Facebook page, and you can join and cast your vote on that so we can get a sense of what your thoughts are. Kojo Menu will be joining us later on the show with some updates on that. So we're going to jump straight into the conversation as we connect on Ghana Connect. First, I would like to get a sense of what the House in the studio thinks of the minority walking out on the president yesterday. I'll start with you, Edu Boahene.
Thank you very much. Greetings to your listeners. Yesterday, I saw it on TV and I was marveled and asked myself why. Because they are the leaders we have in our system. Parliamentarians, I don't think anybody can work out to parliament or go into parliament just like that. So we have competent, critical thinkers and those who can sit down and plan for their nation. And such a situation, a whole president is in the house and you just work out. I don't know. Now the parliament is gradually turned to something different, as we know. Because they also have law in the house that you cannot bring the blackout in the house. That is why the demonstrators cannot go to the premises of the parliament with the blackout.
You mean the placard?
Blackout,
Yeah.
yeah. So when you are going there, the security will stop you at the gate, and then you send some delegations to deliver whatever you have for them. And yesterday I asked myself why. This is what we have in the nation. A whole president is in the house, and you just work out like that. And I don't know. I think there will be a debate somewhere, and I'm asking myself whether they will be part of that debate or whatever.
Okay.
They didn't do well.
They didn't do well, in your opinion, Edubahine. Okay, and remember, Edubahine is a trader. And let me go to Fred Forcing, a PR practitioner.
Yes.
Fred, was that a PR disaster?
Well, you can look at it in both ways. I'm sure the walkout may be predicated by certain events that took place before even the president walked in.
Okay.
It might be that they had already had engagement with the executives, and maybe certain demands were not met, and so it was a surprise. But at the same time, perhaps they used that to make a strong statement, even though the platform, to the ordinary Ghanaian, the platform may not be the desired one, but the MPs, knowing their standing orders and the rules of engagement in the House, my understanding is that it is permitted within the rules of engagement in the House.
In the House, yes.
Yes.
Yes,
and so,
that's
yes.
a learning that we're all having to come to terms with. That it's within parliamentary practice for parliamentarians to walk out. Whether it's okay to do it when it's the state of the nation.
Somebody in the field of communication, I think it also they also use that platform. They got the bigger international platform to put out their case forward. Immediately after that, they had a press conference, and the issues that they raised, I'm sure they got a wider platform to speak to the people of Ghana and even to speak to the world and the international community.
So you have seen what one will call a bit of political gimmicks going on to have the louder share of voice on the day.
Exactly, and if you want to look at it appears both the state of the nations, the SONA and the walkout is the main issues being discussed in the media landscape. And for me, as an outsider, I would say that the minority have gotten the bigger platform to make their case to the world.
Interesting. Let's see what my friend Prince has to say. So, Prince, what do you make of the walkout?
As to whether it's a prudent political strategy to have taken, I think that's a debate that could be had all day, because we could talk about the fact that this is a strategy or a move.
How did it grab you as an individual?
Watching
the side of the house walk out, just before the commencement of the State of the Nation.
I mean, I think I expected it.
Expected?
Yeah, I expected it. I've come to expect that when the attention is on, the president giving an address or something like that, that is an opportunity as well for the president to talk about all the nice things he's doing. Of course, it's also a campaign of a sort, which means that you have to split that attention. You don't have to give them all the attention. So you have to split some of the attention. So I expected it, but my reaction to it, a friend of mine in the media we were talking about, and my reaction to it was, I don't mind these things. The reason why it's acceptable within the practice of parliament, as we just said, is because it's acceptable within the scope of democracy. People don't have the right to anybody's ears. People can decide not to listen to you, and people can stage any legitimate form of protest as long as they are not acting violently. So, I expected it. I think it's fine within the scope of democracy. It's just that, we're going to always have these things. So, it's normal.
Good. And so let me come to that's Daniel. Yeah, Daniel, your take.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nhyira. I think what we should ask ourselves is what my fellow panelists have already addressed. Is it within the scope? Is it right? Is it parliamentary? Yes, is it. Were they wrong on the basis of the parliamentary standing orders? I didn't think they were wrong because we all accept that it is part of parliamentary proceedings to express your displeasure. Another, is there precedent to this? Has it happened before within our governance space? Yes, of course it has happened before. You recall the 2013. I mean, there's an issue as to whether or not the then minority boycotted the State of the Nation address being addressed by His Excellency the former President John Dramani Mahama. And you ask yourself, what was their reason? They said, look, they were challenging the legitimacy of that election. At that point, others would also say that, look, challenging the legitimacy of the election is within your scope. But that matter was already before a court of competent jurisdiction. And until the court had made pronouncement, His Excellency the President was duly elected until otherwise. And so for me, some of these things are not new within our democratic space. I think it is normal. They choose a good opportunity to express their displeasure, and all the things they catalogued in their press conference are issues that we all know have happened in this country. As to whether or not you agree with them is a different thing altogether. So I don't think they were out of scope. So far as it wasn't unparliamentary.
Okay, all right. So final thoughts on this. I'll come to Kojo. So Kojo, what's your take on this? Of course, there's precedence, even though slightly justified, well, not slightly justified, but slightly couched differently, that at the time the contention was about whether the president was duly elected. But of course, we know that the issue was in court, and eventually the presidency was endorsed by the court. Do you think that it was not, it was... Okay, sorry. Do you think that as much as this was not an unparliamentary thing to do, it was justified? What was your take when you saw it happen?
Honestly, I was really shocked looking at it from an outsider's perspective, like, coming to Ghana and listening to the State of the Nation address and seeing, parliamentarians walking out. I was actually shocked because regardless of, even if you agree with the president or do not agree with the president, or the achievements is going to probably boast about, I think is in due respect for you to stay and at least listen. And again, I know they're trying to, as my fellow panelists said, they're trying to put out a statement, and then, at the ward stage. However, they did have an opportunity for a press conference after, and that could have been an opportunity for them to sort of, share their grievances and whatever they did not agree with the president with. So, this is similar, in the United States where, a lot of Democrats do not agree with President Trump and everything that he does, right? However, when he had, last week, Tuesday, when he had his State of the Nation address, everyone was there. Even though they would say something that you do not agree with, they just sat down and just looked.
We saw the
Nancy
ripping of the
Pelosi.
speech,
But at least she was present to do that. Right.
So she was present and demonstrated her displeasure another way.
Exactly.
So for you, the shock was that they did walk out.
Walk out.
Okay.
Yeah. And I didn't even know it was in their right to actually do that. So, again, it was justified. However, I would say at the war stage and everyone sort of looking at Ghana in that sort of lens, I didn't think it was the right time and place to sort of do that.
Okay. Well, we're going to delve deeper into the conversation generally about the entire State of the Nation address itself and some of the issues that are arising from that. But before that, we're going to listen to a conversation my colleague Maxwell Agbagba had with some people at Rolling Spark a few hours after the address by President Akufo-Addo. Take a listen and we'll continue with the conversation. And you could still connect with us via WhatsApp, and it's not a telephone line. Don't call us on WhatsApp. Just send a message to 0244 340 437. Let's take a listen.
Well, I'm here at the Rollins Park. It looks quite busy for an afternoon. A lot of people going about their normal duties. There's a megaphone right in the middle of the Rollins Park advertising some medication. I see some people, about 5 people, gathered around trying to get some of the medication being advertised from the megaphone here. Now I can hear some women busily shouting for people to buy what they are selling, like this pure interact with the people here. Let me find out from them. Yesterday, they monitored the State of the Nation address, what it was like, for them, how it went, and the assessment of the State of the Nation. So I met this woman here who sells, she sells sugar, Cerelac, and then bags of rice, and then some other things. Let me pull this chair here. Mommy, what's your first thing?
Then we just start going.
Diana out home.
Tom Brown need the sugar, Gary. No time more. I be more and I see it, So we will have it be brown, I'm a ton of white.
Oh, okay. She sells sugar, she sells brown rice, and she sells the locally produced rice that President Akufo-Addo, says we should eat or patronize. That's what she sells here. But let me sell utong Gary. You sell Gary too, right?
Gary or sugar or.
I saw a bag of Gary here, so I was asking her if she sells that too. My mom said, Gary, first, utong the same. Last year, now utong the same. 2019, now utong Gary.
2019, they're born in the Fako.
And the loan of Gary last year, and then how much she's selling it this year. She says the price is not stable.
On 7 cedi.
Well, she says last year, Olonka back home.
Olonka back.
Yeah, well, she says last year, one Olonka of Gary was sold at 7 Ghana cedis. Now, this year,
the entire ton is in the same. I'm a deep car, I said, from here, dear. And so, dear, and it's a beer, it's a some year dear, Nina, and Cinema born a corner Saba.
She says, in last year it was 7 CDs, but this year they are selling it at 8 CDs, one Olonka of Gary. But my mimi saw a State of the Nation, President Akufo-Addo, can send me brew, can send ambulances, na yato ambulance, maku 300. And I had to share my constituency, dear, can send galamse home, a dear, not by yes, or Modeba fight galamse, near the day, Omoka so far. Nkrofo na omusika aka bank omodi omusika aka savings and loans ni microfinance omusika aka omuntimi yi ombetia omuka ni nyina ama omo opesa misa say na eti useng
me na samo kan na ye mame pa e bi se scanner aka ho no no me kwa e de oka ho se nyame ya
odi aka ho
nyame ya dom na se nyame aka na kuma na onye sika na obe ya man pe na e fewrade so be ma na ho de ni kwatenten a obetumi di aye na scanner o kan e se nsaka.
Well, she says she's excited that the president says that they are going to pay persons who saved with microfinances and savings and loans companies who have lost their money, their investments because the microfinance companies have been collapsed.
Right, it's 25 minutes past 6, and this is Ghana Connect. You can connect with us via WhatsApp on 0244 340437. And in the studio with me are Prince Asamoah. He's an agribusiness entrepreneur, and Fred Forsing, a PR practitioner. Daniel Blaise Annan Jr., he is the communications director for Dynamic Youth Movement of Ghana, and Edu Boahene, a trader. And also with us is Kwejo Sapong, a student at Georgetown University School of Medicine in the United States. He already has been connecting with us from the States, but now he's home on holidays. I'm going to start off with Kwejo. You returned on Sunday of last week, right?
Yes.
And you've seen, had a feel of the country at least for 5 days.
Yes.
And also heard the President's State of the Nation address.
Yes.
What's your assessment?
Okay. So, honestly, my first take is arriving at the Kotoka International Airport and looking at the new terminals. So I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is beautiful. But, going through, the city and, looking at people and stuff like that, I think, always I would have to do some level of comparison with the United States and stuff. So basically, I know that the president said the country is in good health.
Mm-hmm.
However, I would say, is it trickling down to the masses, like everyone?
To everyone.
Population?
Okay.
So that is the question we need to ask ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, in the United States, they're talking about how the economy is booming and growing so fast. However, it's only the 1% who are enjoying those benefits, and not necessarily like the ordinary American, right? So, in the same way, like our Ghanaians really benefiting from all these economy and everything that is basically happening. But my take is that I see a lot of improvements, and I think we still have a lot of work to do. However, it's a step in the right direction.
What one area of improvement excites you?
I would say the education system, and the fact that with the free SHS, giving opportunity for a lot of students to be able to have the opportunity to go to secondary school. I think that is critical and very, very important. So that is one area that I would.
So for Kojo, it's education. I would like to bring Daniel into this at this point. Daniel, so is it a case of not seeing the abundant blessing because we live in it and we take it for granted? Kojo says he arrives, he was proud of seeing Terminal 3, and then, and he's happy with how free SHS is going. You live here with me. So what's your assessment?
Yeah, thank you very much, Nhyira. I think largely, first of all, we cannot underestimate the effort that every government makes. And I think, especially under the fourth Republican regime, every government that we've had have contributed a quota towards the development of this country. The free SHS, for me, I think is a laudable policy that gives people the opportunity to, access it. But I would want to take us back to the 2018 World Bank report, the Human Capital Index, that ranked us 116 out of 157 countries. The report also talks about how poor the quality of education we have in this country is, and says that in the next 18 years, we may lose 50% of our human resources if we don't tackle the poor quality of education.
Right.
So I think, fine, we have free SHS, access, but how quality? What is the qualitative product are we getting from the policy? And that is one area I would want government to tackle and give it more years. I require to ask this question.
So in plain English, your assessment of the state of the nation, specifically as far as education is concerned, and any other area that matters to you.
Yeah, so education, as I said, we need to do more in respect of the quality of education that we have. And I've made reference to the Human Capital Index report from the World Bank in 2018. Then another thing that worries me, I think we all know, you may have a good economy, the indicators may look good. How does it reflect in the pockets and the ordinary citizen? That is another issue we also need to tackle.
Is it cool in your pocket?
And I think that is where the question is. It is not as cool as His Excellency the President would want to make it look, but we're all hoping for it. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. He still has more years. We are not down, so I wouldn't want to hit more on the criticism.
I know we're going for an election.
No.
I mean, end of this year.
Yeah. I mean, between now.
So he has till December.
Yeah. He still has more months. I mean, between now to 7 December.
Trust me,
as they say,
I'm not about to wear a prophet's cloak now.
But the truth of the matter is that we all agree that it is not as good as we all think it is. I mean, in respect of filling it in our pocket. Another area that I think this government has battled with is corruption, or perceived corruption. We all know this current CPI, the Corruption Perception Index, wasn't looking good at all. We still maintained 41% as the score that we scored previously. I think we could have done better. How involved is the Office of the Special Prosecutor? We need to see him work. We all know that investigation, we need witnesses and all that. We know the kind of man that Martin Amido is. We want to see results. That's what the people of Ghana want to see. The current missing excavators is another bloat of His Excellency the President's tenure. I think these are issues that cast a bloat on his regime that he may want to repair quickly moving into the election. So I think we may be doing well, but some of these areas we fall short and want to see improvement.
Fred, your assessment. I mean, would you agree that the perceived corruption under this present administration is a blot on the work that the government has done, especially if you cast your mind back to before 2016, quite a lot of the challenges or the clarion call from the then opposition was about corruption under the previous administration. So one would have expected ordinarily that there would be some improvement. Do you think that the perceived corruption or the cases, as Daniel puts it, is a big blot on the presidency?
Yes, of course, and it depends on how you look at it. Because I have lived under this democracy since 1992, and I can tell you, for every election, corruption is a big issue, and Ghanaians have become more aware about the issues of corruption. It's with us. You can see it, you can meet it every day on the streets. But I want to look at a broader issue about the health of the nation. My understanding is that your physical, mental, and social well-being, and also is saying that it's a resource for full life living. And so, as an individual, I want to look at my life as an individual, whether the state of the nation, or using my life as an example, is it healthy? Do the policies of this government, or what we've had from 2017 up to date, yes, there may be some progress somewhere, but when you look at the whole thing, for me as an individual, I'm not seeing it as such. Somebody who graduates, you see, one thing the politicians must understand is that Ghana of the 90s is different from the Ghana of the 2000s.
Absolutely.
We have graduated from the third. We are moving from the third world country to a middle income country, and so a lot of people are in the middle income bracket. Most of such people are in the financial space, and so when you have your financial setup messed up, as we see today, you cannot tell me that this economy is healthy.
Are you suggesting that the financial sector cleanup has not inured to the benefit of
that word cleanup is an abuse of the word. Which of the sectors in our finance sector is mention one financial institution that has been cleaned up, that has been cleansed since 2017? It's an abuse of the word.
How would you describe what happened? Your description is that it's a mess up.
Because yesterday the president of 4.6 million depositors' monies are locked up. So if you have 4.6 million people's money which are locked up, can you say it's a cleanup? How do we clean something? Except the meaning of the word is now changed. But if you are saying you have done a cleanup and people cannot trace their investment in financial institutions, I'm not sure you can say that this is a cleanup. It's a total mess.
So, Fred, you think it's a mess. Edu Whining, you're a trader. You make a living selling wares to people. Do you see patronage as you normally would around this time of the year? How would you rate your own if you were drawing a graph of your business? How's it been going?
It's yes or no. Yeah, yes or no. Yes, because the free SHS has taken off some burdens from us.
Okay.
As traders, okay, because normally what you see is that all the school dropouts come to the trading, and everywhere choked. That's why we trade on the streets and then the pavement. When this free SHS came, for the past 1 year and above, you couldn't see these little girls and boys selling pure waters and handkerchief and those kind of stuff. Even traffic, you see there's improvement in those who are selling in the traffic. And not because we haven't seen it in our pockets, in our system. Because when you go to the market, for instance, it is difficult for buyers to come. If the economy is in good shape or in good health, at least it should reflect into our system. Because we hold the economy. Okay.
A year ago by now, the amount of things you would normally sell compared to what you're selling now, up or down?
Now it's a little bit up, but that up is not enough.
Okay.
Yeah, because we have changed everything in the system every year. That is what happened. And in the trading system, you won't believe that day in, day out, the people are coming into the trading system. So if we don't fill the system, it is difficult for Ghanaians to know.
Would you say that maybe trading has a low entry, barrier?
Exactly.
That
Exactly.
is
You
a
know,
thing.
I know.
Oh, it's Kaka Caribbean. You can go and
You
do
know,
it,
I
right?
know.
So would you say that there are limited opportunities elsewhere? That's why you're seeing more people coming in there.
Of course, yes. Because when you have at least, let's say 2,000 cities, you can come to the trading. Okay, but the 2,000 cities cannot buy you a car to go to the transport.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the traders, as I said, we hold the economy, so everything come to our center.
Yeah.
Okay, so when the system is not good for us, it's not good for anybody. Okay, like my brother was saying that when you go to America and they say their economy is booming, and I don't know there, but we trade with the foreign currencies.
Mm-hmm.
When the currencies goes up, it affects us more than the patronage.
Okay.
Okay. When it comes to that, it's always reduce our capital. It's not helping us.
It's not.
So
Okay.
if they said it's in good health, in which way? Talking about they should come out to deliberate.
So for you, Prince, at the market, do you think that where it's in good health but not fully fit?
But you understand that we hold the system.
Oh yeah, I mean,
so we have to fill that in good health.
Yeah, but you don't feel it
at all.
All right.
I want to make a case for the Ghanaian worker.
Wait, give me a second. I would like to get Prince's thoughts on this. Now, Prince, the trader space is a little crowded because low, barrier of entry, but they not feeling as much confident about the health of the economy. You source for financing for agribusiness entrepreneurs. How hard is it, or how easy it is to achieve that mandate? And what's your assessment of the health of the economy?
Okay, thank you very much, Nhyira. For the traders, I like them because they are a key part of our chain. If we finance a farmer to grow plantain, the farmer has to sell to somebody who will sell in the market.
Mm-hmm.
If that person doesn't exist, everything is stuck in the bush.
Right.
And whatever finance that we gave to that farmer is also stuck in the bush. So they are a key partner of ours. So when they are not healthy, we are also not healthy. But what I would say is there's a refrain always from traders. Every year we hear the same thing. We would never get satisfied. So yeah, we understand that the economy is not good for everybody, but we believe that things are at least on an up. The one thing that has been very, very key, that has been around for a while now, that the government did, I can't tell exactly the trajectory to know which government exactly did it, but there's an initiative called the Ghana Commodity Exchange. Very, very brilliant initiative that is allowing farmers to take their goods to market in a very innovative way, and that is really helping our chain. So when you finance a farmer, especially with grains, because they deal with grains as of now, they are adding more commodities, but it allows for people to do we believe that such innovations in digitization, especially with the way things are being done, is very, very important. All the things with identity is really helping our businesses, because the reason why we had to enter such a space is because the traditional financial systems were keeping out some of these farmers because they didn't have identity, and it was very hard for them to be able to get access to finance, which meant that when we are entering this space with tech, because what I do is a tech business,
that's right.
we have to be able to identify these farmers and be able to work with them in a fast and easy way. So it's really working. One thing that I heard from the State of the Nation address that I was quite happy about was that the president is building they are building business centers where young entrepreneurs could go to. That is a very, very key thing. I personally am not a huge believer in government and government coming to do things. I personally believe that we should all hold governments accountable for what they say they will do and they won't do, but we should all take an initiative, and private enterprise is the way to go to solve our problems, which means that private enterprise has to be supported. I personally come from an incubator that was started by Cosmos Energy, and that has really been the backbone of everything we've done. We've survived for the past 2 years since we started the business, primarily because we have an office space that we go to, and your office space, like, you can't imagine how beneficial that is. Sometimes when you bring a client in, the office space alone gives them a certain idea and gives you a certain position in your negotiations, and that is very, very key, and has helped us in helping farmers.
And that's taking off a certain overhead that you needed to have dealt with.
Exactly, and that has been brilliant for us. And because some of these spaces are limited, we believe that when government steps in to do some of these things, government should learn from some of these practices that are working. So what I would love, and I haven't seen the whole grasp of the concept of what the government is doing with the business centers, but if government could learn from such initiatives like where I come from, Cosmos Innovation Center, where you're providing a lot of business expertise, people, you're provided access, you're provided all of those things, we believe that there are a lot of young people out there who can do brilliant things for us, and I think that those kinds of little supports that the government talked about gives me much hope for the future, especially knowing what they're doing with the initiatives I mentioned with the agricultural sector. Currently, because the services sector, as any developing country, your agricultural share of GDP would definitely reduce. So it's a key symptom of growth as an economy. So, but
also presents an opportunity for growth.
Exactly.
Right.
So, which means that we like that agriculture is not employing as many people, but for the people that it's employing, we need to make maximum effort out. We need to get maximum productivity, and for us to do that, it's some of these initiatives and like enterprising things. And I believe that the government doing some of these key enterprising, innovative things is going to help moving forward.
You clearly are excited about what, for the lack of a better expression, I'll call enablers. Okay.
Exactly.
All these enablers. Energy is a critical enabler to any economy. What's your assessment of the energy sector and how it's impacted on your business and people that you interact with?
I heard something very disheartening yesterday when the president said we've paid for almost $1 billion worth of energy that we don't need. I mean, based on bad deals that we've had, the energy has been much more stable. It could get better, but it's been much more stable. Yesterday, I heard there was a blackout in large parts of Accra. We don't know if I mean, they don't know if it's doom or it's back or there's sabotage. We don't know what exactly it is, but
there was a blackout.
Yeah. So. Energy is quite stable. We like that. We just need for costs of doing business to go down, which means that if energy is being provided, it should be affordable for especially businesses that are thriving. If not for the kind of like luck that I had, or the privilege that I have to belong to a space where I'm getting some of these things for free, it would be very, very hard for me to run my business. I have a friend who runs a business in Accra, in Kumasi, and just last week the tax people were at his offices, and they were basically negotiating with him on how much tax he should pay, which means that the money is not actually going into any proper coffers, and that is ridiculous. And some of these things, like for instance with energy, it's getting stable, but what is the cost? Tariffs keep increasing day by day. Fuel prices keep increasing day by day. We need to establish some solidity in the rate at which prices are increasing, because that's very, very key. I personally believe that when all of these things are done, when all of these basics are done, we can afford energy. We can afford to get the basic things to run our businesses. Businesses will run, employment would be provided. Government wouldn't need to sweat so much, and they should provide those basics for us, and we'll take over.
You wanted to make a case for the Ghanaian worker.
Yes.
Please make that
what
case.
Has been
and we'll all debate that.
Yes. What has been
case.
Government's policy for the Ghanaian worker? I want to know, since 2017, those who are in the public sector, there was this pay policy called a single spine salary structure.
That's right.
It was implemented 2010 and was supposed to be for 5 years. And we are in the 10th year. What is happening to that? Because the Ghanaian worker also deserves better. There should be good working conditions, good salary, to enable, because they are the drivers of the economy. They are the backbone of this economy. What has been government policy for the Ghanaian
worker in the public sector or the Ghanaian worker in the private sector?
I'm talking about the public sector.
Public sector.
Yes.
Okay.
What has been government policy for them? We haven't seen any clear-cut direction or clear-cut policy for the Ghanaian worker. in the public sector.
Let me try and throw a spanner in the spokes for you. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Would you say that the value creation from the worker whose case you're fighting has been commensurate to what they've been paid over the years? Have they delivered the strength that the backbone you describe enables the economy to create more value?
It depends on what you are looking at.
No, I'm just me. I don't know anything. You're the man who's
they are
making
doing
the
their
case.
best. Those in the public sector, the
they are doing their best.
It's doing their best within the space, okay, within the environment that they operate. Some of them are. We are in the cities. Go to the rural district and see the Ghanaian public worker, the teacher in the village, how they struggle to make who we are, how they teach us, how they bring up, they are raising the academic standard in the rural district. Go and see their condition of service over there. So that's what I'm asking. The single spine salary structure, when it was implemented in 2010, it actually helped the worker, the Ghanaian public worker. But it was supposed to be implemented for 5 years. And we are in the 10th year. What is happening?
Okay, that's a question that I don't have the answer to, but I'm hoping someone would.
Yeah.
I
have a little problem about what he's saying. He's talking about the public sector. What about the private sector?
Thank you.
You understand me?
Make your case for the private sector.
The problem that we have in our country is that we pay the government workers with our taxes. The taxes in which we should develop, or we should use that tax to develop the country for all of us. Okay, why don't you strengthen the private sectors so that all the unemployed system will be accommodated by private sectors, and the government will have enough money to develop the system? But you are talking about the teacher at the village. What about the farmer at the village? You understand me? So this is something that we should all see how best we can address the issue for all of us, not for public sector alone. I mean, you are talking of public sector. They use my tax this thing to pay him. Meanwhile, I don't know what he's doing. He's not deliver. You understand me?
Well, guess what? According to a very story, September 3, 2019, public sector workers to enjoy a 12% rise in their base pay this year.
Let me come there. These are annual rituals since the beginning of the country. I mean, normal percentage.
12% is not good.
And do you know what has been the increase in utilities? The transportation fares, the cost of living. I mean, so what is 12%?
See, I think I need to bring everybody.
No. The reason,
no, but you see,
what I'm saying.
See, see this man here. He runs.
I get his point. He runs his own business. Yes.
But you see, his level of expenditure, his expectations are based on how much value he will create for the business. So I'm going to ask you again that the person for which, or the group of people for which you're making a case for, have they delivered so much value that has enabled private sector to contribute more taxes so they can get better conditions of service? Because the money is not going to come from anywhere.
Under the circumstances, they are doing their best. Under the circumstances, they are doing their best. I'm telling you.
Daniel.
Yeah, thank you very much. Another thing we also need to take cognizance of, you have revenue expenditure. We have this has been a problem or a ritual that has been with us for a very long time. When government targeted revenue, government is unable to get or reach its expected revenue allocated for in the ABFE, as we all do know. So I think it goes hand in hand, and these are issues that we also need to tackle. I mean, one policy that I like that this government has introduced, and I think the ex-vice administration also made mention of that, is that digitizing our economy. And these are ways that we could stop those loopholes so that government could meet its revenue target. So let's put the government on hold and let's ask them the question: having implemented this policy, how prepared is government, or how committed is the government to make sure that the ordinary worker, both the private, mind you, this is a government that prides itself in the private sector, so how prepared is the government and how committed are they in dealing with this this policy vis-a-vis government expected revenue.
Right. If you just tuned in, you're listening to Ghana Connect. I'm Nhyira Addo, and my guest in the studio and I are exploring the state of the nation, and we're trying to answer the question: is Ghana indeed in good health and in good, competent hands? The same question has been put out on our poll from yesterday. If you go to the Joy Facebook page, you will find the poll there, and you can also cast your ballot. And just a moment before we go to there's a comment. I want you guys to think about this. Now, Nana on the Spintex road sends this in and says, please, East Airport is still is dark, basically. There's still a blackout in the area. And he says, regardless of what politicians say, Ghana is the most expensive country I have lived in. Now, we're going to compare how that impacts on the health of the country in a moment. Let's take a listen to all right, so Kojo Menu is joining us now, and he's going to bring us some thoughts on how the poll is doing. Welcome, Kojo. What's happening out there?
So, in Shira, we put out this question. Joy Business actually did yesterday after the State of the Nation address. We quoted the president saying, our nation is in good health and in good, competent hands. That's President Akufo-Addo. Do you agree with him? Now, we have 2.7K people connecting with us. 12% say yes, and a whopping 88% say no.
Oh. Okay, that's interesting.
So let me bring you some of the comments. This one says, this Phyllis Mensa says, it's only good for him, family, and the government. Adbanat Daniel says, it's only good for him, okay, he's repeating the same thing, and employees of the government, but they should remember that power is dynamic and tomorrow will surely come. Reginald Johnson says, very shambolic performance so far. Nothing to write home about this government. I'm disappointed. This one says, our nation is in good health. I missed that. Okay. So Collins Kwashi says, it's very true. Nana is doing very well. 4 more to do more. And of course says, we are really suffering under President Akufo-Addo. We, the youth of this country, are disappointed.
Interesting thoughts. More comments coming in. One here that doesn't have a name, but interesting comment says the government is the government's budget provision for the public sector is usually only for salaries. No provision for development work. So you can't blame the staff in the public sector. Okay, all right. Fred is excited because someone is fighting his cause for him. Then another one here from Efo in Accra says, what has the effect of all the policies that government claims have what has the effect of all policies that government claims it has delivered? I always say for my landlord, they claim to be building affordable houses since 2000. Okay, Efo, what is your assessment? Now, another comment here from Fred in Kaneshi says, thank you, my brother, for saying that it was totally wrong for government to have done that and call it a cleanup. And I think this is referring to Fred's description of the financial sector cleanup. So namesake is supporting your position. Says in the end, it's taxpayers' money which is going to be used, whereby the banks could have worked for a long term to pay their customers. Okay, Fred is clearly happy about that one. Another comment here, then I'll come to you for final thoughts. Okay, we can no longer trust any of the political parties because they promise something but do the other. So in my view, we keep changing. This is Fred Donker in Tanoso. All right, so we have about 4 minutes before we wrap up and hand over to First Take. Yeah, when you're having a lot of fun, that's what happens. Yes.
I thought we had done just 30 minutes.
You see, yeah, time does fly. So let's go around the table for your final thoughts. But I want to start in your delivery of the final thoughts. I would want you to tell me what you think of the state of the nation based on the question I asked you before I went for the short interaction. It says, regardless of what politicians say, Ghana is the most expensive country I have ever lived in. And this is from Nana on the Spintex Road. Do you agree with Nana's assertion? And how does that translate into a health of the economy and your final thoughts? So I will start off with you. You have 45 seconds.
45 seconds.
Yes, sir.
You see, definitely the government will do something. Every government do something. I don't think the way they are talking is helping the system. They should talk as if what is on the grounds. But normally the politicians, as somebody said, they promise this and do that. That is why I quite remember when the late Professor Smith was alive in Parliament, he said Ghana will not die. Because, but then the candidate Akufo-Addo said, "All die be die." The same applied to what President Addo also said, "Ghana is in good health," because the candidate Mahama said, "If you don't listen to us and something happens, you should come out and take the blame for yourself." That is what they have been doing to us. But I'm not also agree to my brother that the single span should work for the teachers in the village and what about us? I'm paying a lot of taxes.
Okay. So they should deliver value. All right.
Yes, Isha, this one before I go on, just give me 3 seconds. You know, ASU 95 is organizing the 90th anniversary.
I will give you a bill for that. I'm sure your Kojo Yankson.
March 31st, 2020. At Cape Coast, we are organizing our 90th anniversary and we are hosting it. Yes, about the health of the nation, like I said, because of the financials, it's not helping us. I'm not seeing that we are in a very healthy state of the nation, and the president must put in place practical, reasonable policies that will inure to the benefit of the individual Ghanaian. That's my take.
Okay. All right.
Especially men's good customers.
Okay. We'll have a conversation after the show. We are running out of time quickly. So, Prince, sorry, let's hear your thoughts.
I haven't had the privilege of living in multiple countries like Nana, so I can't see. But living in Accra alone without my parents, it's expensive. I can tell you that everything is, you have to pay for everything, and it's expensive. And I mean, Accra has mostly been rated as one of the more expensive cities to live in Africa for a long time, so it's quite expensive. But we're hoping that the government, like I said, keeps doing something to support enterprise, and the youth will carry on.
Okay. All right. Daniel.
Yes, thank you very much, Nhyira. We are the dynamic youth of Ghana. We've always said, we always heeded to what Benjamin Israeli said, the youth of a nation are the trustees for prosperity. And so we'll continue to question of it here. We still want to see action with respect of job creation.
Okay.
We still want to see more improvement with regards to the fight against corruption. We want to see more transparency. We want to see our economy boom. The verdict is out there. People are not too happy with His Excellency the President's word that the economy is healthy. The 2020 election is a referendum on the Akufo-Addo-led administration.
Interesting thoughts. Now, I'll come to you finally, Kwajo. What are your thoughts? Final thoughts.
So I would say these issues that we're discussing are very complex, right? So it doesn't take like just 4 years to solve all these issues, right?
Okay.
So I think we need patience. However, I agree, Ghana is very expensive.
Bogasi Ghana is expensive. All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen, and thank you all for connecting with your comments and your thoughts. And Kojo, let me do you have 3 seconds, some quick shouts to your family.
Oh,
yeah, in town, so you can collect their chocolate.
Yeah, I just want to shout out to my family, my brother, Felix Akosi Nyameche Sapon, Kwame Sapon, and my wife Priscilla for basically holding it down whilst I'm here, and I thank them for everything they support.
All right, well, that's 2 extra points for you. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. And for me, I'd say, well, we all have a role to play. And if it's going to be good or better, it depends on what we all put in. So the Ghana we want to see depends on the input we all together make. Have a good evening. And the guys with First Take are up next, Gary and George Addo Jr. My name is Nhyira Addo. I've been sitting in for Evans Mensah, and this has been Ghana Connect. And I will see you on the other side. Go forward, make rain. Shalom.